Okay, now we move on to the next step. Now that we have the name, the last name, first name, and the sex, and the class IDs, we would like to specify. So as far as you can see, I mean, as you can see that from this file that we got from this school. Okay, of course, there up there we have the class teachers, but now we're not interested in the teachers. We just want the people information. Notice that there's no other information that has been added. So we know we have these grade 8 classes, but there's no information like date of birth. There's nothing like in which grade were these admitted, in which year they were admitted, and what is their current. Of course, the current grade we know is grade 10. Okay, so this will be very easy to fill in. So the system requires that you specify the date of admission and the grade somebody was admitted in, and then the current grade. So for all of these classes, we know what their current grades are. Okay, it's very easy. But we don't know the grade admitted in and in which they were admitted. So what we will do is we'll simply use an assumption that all grade 8s and grade 10s were admitted in the current year, which will be 2019. Right? So here, you know that these here are grade 8s. Okay? So here we have grade 8. So let's say that all these grade 8s were admitted in 20. So on your computer, your date format might be a bit different from what I'm using. You might be using the American standard, which is with slashes, okay, where it starts with the day, with the month, and then the day, and then the year. But what I'm using is a Swedish standard. That's why you're seeing it starts with a year there, and then followed by the month, and then the day. Okay, so in case you notice differences, just don't mind that. It's the format that you're using on your computer. So we're going to assume that all grade 8s were enrolled in 2019 January. Just leave it like that. Just say 2019 January, and they were admitted in grade 8, and their current grade is grade 8. Okay, so once you do that, select all these 3 cells and just pull them all for all grade 8. Just pull that, copy it to all grade 8. You can see I'm dragging all the way. Now be careful, go all the way up to the last grade 8 in 8C, and then you need to use this small guy here. So notice that when you're doing this autofill option, it was incrementing the dates. You see that now it shows April 30th, 2019. Okay, so you need to go to the autofill options, and instead of filling series, say copy cells, meaning you want it to copy as it is. Okay, so let me just give you an example here. If I start a new cell, when you type something like month 1, alright, if you go to the corner of this and drag like that, you see that it will be incrementing. You go all the way to month 20. Now if you don't want it to do this auto filling, you can click this little guy at the corner there and then say, oh no, don't do that, just copy the cells, meaning copy as it is. So that's basically what I did here. I dragged and it was incrementing the date, but I didn't want it to do that, so I told it to just copy as it was. So for all grade 8s, we've just assumed that they were admitted in 2019 and in grade 8, and they're currently in grade 8. What about for grade 9s? Okay, so grade 9s will also make an assumption that grade 9s were admitted last year, 2018. So we're going to say, okay, these were admitted in 2018, January 1, in grade 8, but now they're currently grade 9. So it's very simple, you see. Then you need to do the same thing, copy. Just drag this for all grade 9s. Remember, I'm only doing this for 9s. So 9s and 11s will share the same thing, except of course on the current grades. So we go up to the last grade 9, which is this one here. And again, even this, you say, please just copy the cells, don't autofill. So far so good. Let's move on to the grade 10s. First, let's save this. So for the grade 10s, it will be like grade 8s. We assume that they were admitted in 2019, 0101, and they were admitted in grade 10, and they're currently in grade 10. So again, for all grade 8s, for all grade 10s, I mean, we copy up to the last grade 10, who is this one here, and we say copy cells, don't fill. For the grade 11s, it would be like grade 9s. They were admitted in 2018, January 1. We just put it like that. And they're admitted in grade 10, and now they're in grade 11. and then we do that. Of course, these pupils might have been admitted at different times, so for now we're just making a general assumption, and then you can edit this data later. But since we don't have that information, that's why we're just automatically filling this in. If you have the actual dates, then you fill them in. So we'll go all the way to the last grade 11, which is here, and then again we copy cells. Then the last part is the grade 12s. So you can see now why we didn't fill this in the first place, because it's very easy to fill in. So in the first place we only concentrated, in the first step we concentrated on first name, last name, first name, sex, and the class. So let's do the grade 12s. So grade 12s are going to assume that they were admitted in 2017. That's like 2 years ago. Okay. So this came in 2017, January 1. They're admitted in grade 10, but they're currently in 12. So we do that, and then we drag all the way down to the last grade 12, which is there. And then again, also don't forget, copy cells. So now we have our data there. Cool. We have it for all these. What's the next thing we should specify? The most mandatory thing. So remember, we've done the admissions and all this. Remark is not mandatory. Computer ID, township, all these are not mandatory. But the parent is mandatory here. We need to fill in the parent. And again, like I said, we already put the formula for you excuse me, in the template. So just assume that here it's a father who is a parent, and just pick the last name of the pupil, which is this. So the system is already doing that. So here just select this and drag it down. Excuse me. Just drag this down like that. Drag it all the way to the last pupil. It will just fill in for everyone. It will keep on picking their last names up to here, there. Yeah, you see. So let's confirm. Good. So it has picked everything. So here we are not going to say copy cells because we want it to actually fill in the actual formulas, right? So we go to the top. The last thing we need to do is to specify the school ID, which is 1. So with this also you just drag to the very end. Drag to the very end here. So again, just confirm that you've done the correct thing. So it's good it didn't fill, like it didn't count, so you just copy. So good, so we have everything. Now let's just remove all this I don't know why it has all this formatting for the old data, but I guess it won't really affect us that much because it's empty cells anyway. You can also just say delete that, yeah, like this, but we can ignore it for now. So there we are. So we're actually done with our data. Alright, so I've shown you how to insert the data admitted in, the grade admitted in, the current grade, the parent details, and the school ID. So in the next video, I'm now going to show you how you set up how you come up with a CSV from this template, and then how you import that into the system. Great. So see you in the next video.